Hello students, today we are going to start our syllabus, actual syllabus, and where the first point is nucleophilicity and basicity, or nucleophilicity versus basicity. So these two terms are quite confusing. Many times we can't differentiate whether the reagent is acting as a nucleophile or base. That we are going to discuss here. Why? Because nucleophiles are the Lewis bases. That's why it is confusing. Why they are Lewis bases are nucleophile and nucleophiles are Lewis bases? Because their structures are similar. You can see this is also called nucleophile as well as Lewis base. And similarly with all these examples which are given, because they are having lone pair of electrons. So what is then basic difference between nucleophile and base that is given here? When nucleophile abstract proton, remove proton from the substrate, it is called base. And when it forms bond with the carbon, which is having leaving group, see the polar bond, that nucleophile if attacking here and forming bond by providing a pair of electron, then it is called a nucleophile. So in the same substrate, the same nucleophile can act as a base as well as the nucleophile and give two different reactions. If it is acting as a base, it will remove proton and it will be elimination reaction that we have seen in my previous video. But when this nucleophile is attacking to this carbon, this leaving group is going away, and that is called substitution reaction, nucleophilic substitution reaction. Then what is basicity? As our point is basicity and nucleophilicity, we will discuss basicity. It indicates the extent to which it accepts proton, how easily it can remove proton. That is nothing but the basicity. If the base is stronger, if its basicity is more, it can remove that proton more easily. And you know, acid-base reactions are equilibrium reactions. After some time, equilibrium is maintained. And because of that, this is a thermodynamics term. So basicity is a thermodynamic term and it has absolute value. It has absolute value, and that value is measured in terms of Kb and pKb. You know that very well, pKb value. There are certain bases having a fixed value. So pyridine having, for example, 8.8 pKb value. So this is having absolute value. So that this is something about basicity. What is nucleophilicity? It is the measure of rate at which nucleophile forms bond with the substrate to remove the leaving group. How easily it is forming bond with the carbon, that is nothing but the nucleophilicity. So if the nucleophilicity is more, the rate of the reaction will be more. So it is totally related to the rate. That's why it is kinetic term. See the difference. Thermodynamic term, basicity is a thermodynamic term and nucleophilicity is a kinetic term. It has relative value. Relative value means we have to compare with the standard. So, and we have to take the ratio. So this is a relative value and this has a fixed value. We can, absolute value, we can calculate, we can find out by using certain instruments. So this is the difference between nucleophilicity and basicity. But we have to discuss more what are the factors which are actually affecting the nucleophilicity and basicity. By changing the reaction conditions only, we can change the reaction from elimination to the substitution, or substitution to the elimination. So we must know which factors are actually responsible, for the nucleophilicity, to increase the nucleophilicity or basicity. So the first factor which we are going to discuss here, suppose there are two nucleophiles with same nucleophilic atom. So we must know that. I put here one example, that is hydroxyl group, and suppose acetate ion. So both are bases, no problem. Here nucleophilic atom is same, oxygen. Now there is a problem which is more basic and which is more nucleophilic. So we must remember, this is first factor which we are going to discuss, that when there is a same atom, when there is a same nucleophilic atom, stronger base is stronger nucleophile. Stronger base is stronger nucleophile. So in this case, this hydroxyl group is a stronger base, that's why it is a stronger nucleophile. So you have to apply these factor or these information to decide the nucleophilicity of the two different nucleophiles. Second factor is negatively charged nucleophiles. Charged nucleophiles are more nucleophilic than neutral conjugate acids. So I am writing here conjugate acid base pairs. For example, I write here OH, the same nucleophile I am taking here, and its conjugate acid is water, you know this. So this is conjugate acid of this base actually. So what is this? Negatively charged nucleophile is more nucleophilic, so nucleophilicity is more. So this is more nucleophilic than its conjugate acid. One more example, for example, alkoxide ion, and it is generated from alcohol, which is conjugate acid. So this is more nucleophilic than the alcohol. So we have to remember this point, this second factor. Third factor which we are going to discuss now is what happened in periodic table from right to left, particularly second row of the periodic table. So second row having carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine. So I'll write there nucleophiles or the bases, one species. For example, I write here CH3, negative charge, suppose NH2, negative charge, and OH, negative charge, and fluoride ion, 4 lone pairs, negative. So these are all second row elements of the periodic table. And all of you know that as we move from right hand side to the left hand side, basicity increases. And if basicity increases, its nucleophilicity is also increases. So nucleophilicity increases. So you remember, as we move in a second row from right hand side to the left hand side, basicity increases as well as nucleophilicity is also increases. So this anion is more nucleophilic than this is more nucleophilic than this, and this is more nucleophilic than this. You must remember this. This is particularly for second row of periodic table, and these are very common nucleophiles or bases that we are going to we discuss here. Next factor is steric hindrance. What is steric hindrance? You know that very well. There is a less room, very crowded structure. So in steric hindrance, I quote here one example, methoxide ion, same nucleophilic atom I should take, and tertiary butoxide ion. So the oxygen is the same in both cases. So this is nucleophilic atom. So which is more basic? So actually this is more basic. So more basic, and this is less basic. So the sterically hindered is a more basic, more basicity. It is having more basicity, but this is a stronger nucleophile. This is a stronger nucleophile, and this is less nucleophilic. So what is our statement? That steric hindrance increases the basicity, but steric hindrance decreases the basicity. Steric hindrance decreases the nucleophilicity, but steric hindrance decreases the nucleophilicity, and in steric hindrance increases the basicity. So you have to remember that point. Okay, now I am moving towards the last point, last factor, that is solvent. Solvent is also playing a very good role in the nucleophilicity and basicity, so you should know. There are two types of solvent. In presence of polar protic solvents, I hope all of you know the meaning of polar protic solvent. I write here a few examples: water, alcohol, say for example ethanol, or acetic acid. So number of polar protic solvents where the OH group particularly is present. That polar protic solvent, in presence of polar protic solvent, what happens, that I am going to discuss now. In polar protic solvent, as the size of the anion increases, nucleophilicity increases. So particularly here, these are the nucleophiles which we are using more frequently. So size increases. If size increases, nucleophilicity increases. That means iodide is more nucleophilic than fluoride, but if you see the basicity decreases. Why this is happening in presence of polar protic solvent? Because the smaller size anions are actually get trapped in polar protic solvent by hydrogen bonding. So we can say these ions are solvated. They are trapped, they are in the cage of the solvent, so they are not free. So when the size is more, these polar protic solvent cannot trap this ion. Because of this, its nucleophilicity increases. So in presence of polar protic solvent, this is more nucleophilic and less basic. This is more basic and less nucleophilic. Again, the next is polar aprotic solvent. What happens in presence of polar aprotic solvent? Second is polar aprotic solvent. What are the examples of polar aprotic solvent? You should know at least few examples. DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, DMF, dimethyl formamide, THF, tetrahydrofuran. These are, or acetone, So these are polar aprotic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent, what happens here? Actually, as the size decreases, I write here fluoride ion again, as the size decreases, means this side, size decreases, nucleophilicity increases. Exactly reverse to the previous case in presence of protic solvent. Here fluoride is a good base, actually stronger base, because basicity more. So as the basicity increases, nucleophilicity is also increases in presence of polar aprotic solvent. You must remember, but in presence of polar protic solvent, this is more nucleophilic. So by this changing the solvent, we can shift reaction from elimination to the substitution reaction, or substitution to the elimination reaction. That is the importance of this point. So this point is very, very important, particularly in elimination reaction and nucleophilic substitution reaction, because stronger base is responsible for the elimination reaction. So there will be elimination reaction, and stronger nucleophile stronger nucleophile is responsible for the substitution reaction. Substitution reaction. So if you know which is the reagent is stronger base or stronger nucleophile, you can predict whether elimination is there or substitution is there. This is the end of this topic, but I want to ask one question, particularly for hydride ion. Very, very tricky question. Hydride ion is a good base. This is a good base, but this is non-nucleophilic. This is not nucleophile. Because of its size and less energy of its orbital, it cannot overlap with the higher orbitals or the orbitals which are in higher energy state. So because of this, hydride is not a nucleophile. It is not a nucleophile. It cannot give substitution reaction, but it can give elimination reaction. So you remember this hydride ion particularly. Thank you.